They were built over 2,000 years ago, yet many Roman roads are still standing strong, while ours crack and crumble in just decades. How did the ancients build better than us? Stay with me, and if you love uncovering the secrets of the past, make sure to hit subscribe, because we're just getting started. Chapter 1. The Empire That Paved the World. When most people imagine the Roman Empire, they think of grand temples, towering aqueducts, or the Colosseum's roaring crowds. Yet Rome's most enduring legacy might be something far less glamorous. Its roads. For centuries, they were the arteries of an empire that stretched across 3 continents. Without them, Rome could never have projected its power, maintained control, or grown into the superpower of the ancient world. Before Rome, roads were often little more than dirt tracks, vulnerable to weather and unsuitable for heavy travel. They could bog down armies or isolate towns during rainy seasons. Rome recognized this weakness early on. To rule an empire meant moving troops swiftly, supplying armies consistently, and enabling trade between provinces. The solution was clear. Build roads that lasted.
Chapter 2. Engineering Perfection, Layer by Layer. Roman road construction was a marvel of precision and durability. Unlike modern asphalt surfaces designed for decades at most, Roman roads were deliberately built to last centuries. Their secret wasn't just in the materials, but in the meticulous layering process that turned stone into a highway of endurance. The process began with a deep trench dug into the ground. At the bottom, engineers placed the statumen, large flat stones that created a solid base. Above this came the rudus, a thick layer of smaller stones mixed with lime or clay, forming a kind of ancient concrete. The next layer, the nucleus, consisted of gravel and sand, tightly compacted to provide a smooth bed. Finally, the surface, or summum dorsum, was laid with heavy paving stones, cut and fitted so tightly together that even weeds struggled to break through. This 4-layered system provided strength, flexibility, and remarkable stability. Each level absorbed pressure, prevented collapse, and allowed the road to withstand centuries of wear. Just as importantly, Roman engineers understood water was an enemy of longevity. Their roads were slightly arched in the center, allowing rain to flow into drainage ditches. This clever design protected the foundations from erosion, a detail modern asphalt often neglects. Surveying was another strength. Using instruments like the groma, Roman builders created roads that cut directly through landscapes. They preferred straight lines, even if it meant tunneling through hills or constructing bridges. Efficiency, not ease, was their priority. The result was astonishing. Roads so durable that modern archaeologists and travelers can still walk their paths today. But construction was only half the story. To truly last, even the best roads required care. Rome knew this and created a system of maintenance that few modern nations can rival. Chapter 3. Maintaining the lifelines of Rome. A road, however well built, will fail without proper care. The Romans understood this better than most, and they developed a culture of maintenance that kept their road network functional for centuries. In fact, it's one of the main reasons these roads still exist today. Every Roman road was marked by milestones, stone pillars placed at intervals of roughly a Roman mile. These weren't just markers for travelers, they also recorded which official was responsible for building or repairing that stretch. This meant accountability. If a road fell into disrepair, citizens knew exactly who to blame. Maintenance duties fell to a range of people. Local communities often contributed labor for minor repairs. For larger projects, Rome appointed curatores viarum, road overseers who organized funding and manpower. Soldiers frequently joined repair efforts during peacetime, ensuring that legions could march swiftly when needed. This constant upkeep meant Roman roads rarely reached a state of collapse. Stones were replaced, drainage ditches unclogged, and embankments reinforced. The difference with modern roads is striking. Today, many governments postpone maintenance until roads deteriorate completely, resulting in endless cycles of pothole repairs. Rome, on the other hand, treated roads as permanent assets worth preserving. The payoff was immense. These roads weren't just for armies, they were lifelines for trade, communication, and culture. A merchant moving olive oil from Spain or spices from the East could rely on safe, predictable travel. Farmers could bring produce to markets. Governors could communicate with Rome at unprecedented speed. By maintaining roads so carefully, Rome transformed infrastructure into empire building. And yet, the importance of roads wasn't merely practical. They didn't just connect towns, they united an empire.
Chapter 4. Roads that United an Empire. The Roman road system was more than engineering. It was the invisible glue that held the empire together. Stretching across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, these roads linked diverse cultures and far-off provinces into one interconnected world. For the military, the benefits were obvious. Roman legions could march over 20 miles a day, reaching rebellious provinces or distant battlefields with astonishing speed. Enemies were often stunned at how quickly Rome could move forces, and roads were the reason why. A revolt in Gaul or an invasion on the eastern frontier could be met with swift military response. Yet, the roads weren't built for soldiers alone. They became channels of commerce. Merchants traveled along them, carrying wine from Gaul, olive oil from Spain, glass from Syria, and spices from the East. These goods fueled local economies and enriched Rome itself. The stability of Roman trade was directly tied to the reliability of its roads. Culturally, the impact was profound. Along these highways spread not only goods, but also ideas, languages, and laws. Latin traveled with merchants and officials, laying the groundwork for future European languages. Roman law and customs moved with governors and administrators, standardizing practices across the empire. Certain roads became legendary. The Via Appia stretched southward from Rome, while the Via Egnatia cut across the Balkans, eventually leading to Byzantium. Cities like London and Paris owe their very existence to Roman road networks, which first made them important settlements. Rome's roads were civilization itself, woven into stone, but their true marvel is best seen in contrast with modern roads. How is it that 2,000-year-old highways endure while many of ours crumble within decades? Chapter 5. Why Roman roads still beat ours. The durability of Roman roads seems almost unbelievable. Built with primitive tools and manpower, they still exist after 2 millennia, while modern asphalt highways often require repairs within 15 to 20 years. The reasons highlight Rome's genius and our compromises. First, design. Roman roads were deliberately overbuilt. Their multi-layered construction provided resilience, distributing weight and absorbing shock. Unlike asphalt, which easily cracks under stress, the interlocking stonework adapted to pressure. The solid foundations ensured stability even under constant use. Second, drainage. Water is the greatest enemy of roads, seeping beneath surfaces, freezing and expanding to create cracks and potholes. Romans solved this with raised centers and deep ditches. Water simply flowed off, leaving the road intact. Many modern roads lack this attention to water management, leading to costly maintenance. Third, philosophy. Romans didn't build for decades, they built for centuries. Roads were considered permanent investments, crucial to military and economic survival. Today, cost efficiency dominates. Asphalt is cheap, fast, and smooth, perfect for modern vehicles, but short-lived. Our society often accepts deterioration as normal, scheduling routine replacements instead of aiming for durability. Even traffic patterns make a difference. Roman carts were heavy but slow, causing less vibration damage than today's high-speed cars and trucks. Our modern roads endure greater stress, but even then, their short lifespan reflects design priorities, not just necessity. Ultimately, Roman roads beat ours because they were designed with a different mindset: permanence over convenience. But this contrast raises a bigger question. If the ancients mastered durability, why don't we apply those lessons today? The answer lies in the choices we made, trading endurance for speed and scale.
Chapter 6. Lessons Lost to Time. If Roman roads were so superior, why don't we still build them the same way? The answer lies in economics, technology, and shifting priorities. Rome had both the will and the need. For an empire stretched across thousands of miles, roads were lifelines of survival. The expense of stone construction was justified by the benefits of military mobility and economic control. Today, nations maintain millions of miles of roadway, far more than Rome ever managed. Building all of them with stone foundations would be financially impossible. Asphalt, cheap and quick to lay, became the practical solution. Technology also shifted the equation. The rise of the automobile required smoother surfaces than stone paving could provide. Asphalt delivered the sleek, continuous surface necessary for high-speed travel. For Rome's ox-drawn carts, durability was more important than smoothness. For us, comfort and efficiency take precedence. But the biggest difference is mindset. Rome thought in centuries. Modern governments think in election cycles. Infrastructure is often built with short-term budgets in mind, not with an eye toward lasting 1,000 years. The result is roads that need constant repair, costing billions over time. That said, Roman lessons aren't forgotten. Modern engineers still admire their methods, especially in drainage and foundations. Some of the strongest roads today, like runways and major highways, use reinforced techniques that echo Roman design principles. The reality is that while we can't rebuild our entire road system like Rome did, we can still learn from their foresight. Because Roman roads were never just about stone, they were about permanence. And that brings us to the greatest legacy of all: the roads that still lie beneath our feet. Chapter 7. The Legacy Beneath Our Feet. Even today, Roman roads endure as both relics and reminders. In Italy, you can still walk the Via Appia, where worn stones bear the marks of centuries of footsteps. Across Europe, in forests and fields, traces of Roman roads remain visible, stubbornly resisting time. They are not just ruins, they're living history. Their influence extends beyond archaeology. Modern highways borrow their principles: straight routes, milestones, and systematic planning. Our very idea of a connected world owes much to Rome's example. Without Roman roads, Europe's development would have been slower, its cities less connected, its culture less unified. But perhaps their greatest legacy is symbolic. They remind us of what infrastructure can achieve when built with vision.
Roads don't just connect places, they connect people, economies, and ideas. Rome's roads helped spread Latin, Roman law, and eventually Christianity. They were the silent force that shaped civilizations long after Rome itself had fallen. In contrast, our roads often symbolize impermanence, crumbling within a few decades and demanding endless repairs. Roman stones, still intact, seem to mock us across the centuries, whispering, "You build fast, but we built forever." 2,000 years later, these roads are not only monuments to Roman engineering, but also lessons for us today. They show that durability is possible when permanence is valued. And perhaps that is the true message. Progress is not always linear. Sometimes the ancients did it better. Rome's roads remain beneath our feet, timeless pathways proving that even in infrastructure, the past can outlast the present.